Welcome back to my channel. In today's video we have an exciting video. First off, we are going to be doing the take one challenge or one take challenge that was going around booktube several years ago. As per normal, I'm late to the party. Basically, this challenge means that you are not allowed to restart the video or edit anything out, which is very great for me because I have to be on the road here in just a few hours, so that's fine with me. And for the actual video, I have 5 or 6, if you like this, then you'll like this style of books. So let's just jump right in, shall we? Let's start here and we'll just move our way over this way. This one is actually the one that inspired this entire video because I read both of these this year and I absolutely loved both of them. I have never really been into horror novels, but I'm trying to get into them more. So if you like Fantastic Land by Mike Bachoven, then I think you would like We Need to Do Something by Max Booth III, and vice versa. If you like We Need to Do Something, then read Fantastic Land. I think it works both ways, but in We Need to Do Something, you follow this family who there's a tornado warning, and this family goes to the bathroom because if you stay in a bathtub, it's supposed to help save you from the tornado. And you slowly but surely kind of go into the minds of Violet, the daughter, and you see different aspects of the dad and the mom and the little brother, and this sounds super strange. It sounds real bad. Like, by that premise, I would be like, no, thank you, next. But it's actually so amazing. Like, it was creepy and fun, but also like terrified me. And it's very short, so it's like a little short novella, but highly recommend this. And I think that if you liked We Need to Do Something, then you're gonna like Fantastic Land because they both kind of follow a natural disaster, but it's not really the natural disaster that is the horror or the fear. I mean, that's an aspect of it, and it does bring on immense dread in both of these. Fantastic Land is a lot bigger, but in Fantastic Land, it's a hurricane, and a bunch of people, like 300 people, are trapped in this theme park. Think like Disneyland, and there are different sections, and each section starts basically forming a tribe, and in both of them it's the more so when We Need to Do Something, this one's all in Violet's head, and you're just unsure if you can really count on her or rely on her. But in Fantastic Land, it's told in interview format, and it's about the craziness of what people will do to survive. It's like Lord of the Rings, but not Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Flies, but on steroids. And they were both just so perfect. I really do think if you like one, you'll like the other. All right, pairing number 2. This one's a 2-parter, so stick with me. I know what you're thinking. You're gonna be like, no, Alita, those don't add up to this, but I think they do. So if you like Sour Candy by Keelan Patrick Burke, which is like a tiny novella, like 70 pages, I think. 76 pages? 74 pages. There we go. 74 pages of complete dread. This follows Phil and his son Adam. And I don't want to tell you anything else other than, like, you think you know what's going on. You think that it's a case of a controlling parental figure, but it's not what it seems. It's really just about the relationship between Phil and his son Adam and their life together, but their life together is not what it seems. I can't tell you more than that because, like I said, it's literally 74 pages. But just read it. It was so good. And I think that if you like Dear Seraphina by Avery Bishop, mainly because of the formatting of this book. So if you like both of these together, Dear Seraphina is also a very short novella, but it's about this woman who is obsessed with this actress, and she starts writing letters to this actress telling her how amazing she is, and then things go unhinged. I think things get unhinged in both of them. So if you like Sour Candy and Dear Seraphina, then I think that you would like The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. And I know what you're thinking, that's a bit of a stretch. But in The Turn of the Key, you follow this nanny who has been arrested for killing this child. And this takes place in prison. Rowan is like writing to an attorney to get her to represent, or to get him to represent her in the upcoming trial. And things get unhinged in all three of these. And I know what you're thinking. This one's a horror novella. This one's a thriller novella. But I really do think if you like the writing style of Dear Seraphina and just the unhingedness of both of them, then you would really like the unhinged craziness of this nanny thriller. It was full of dark secrets, and the cool thing is that, like, the main character, Rowan, she's very unreliable. And in Dear Seraphina, the writer, the obsessed fan, the writer of the letters, is very unhinged and very unreliable. So I just think that they all go great together. So read them. The next one is, I feel a little bit bad for recommending them together, but that's okay. I'll explain. So I think if you like At First Bite by Olivia Dade, then I think you'll like If You Ask Me by Libby Hofscher. Okay, first off, let's just get it out of the way. If you ask me, the romance in here, I do not ship Violet and Daz. I don't ship them. I don't like them together. I hate the romance in this one specifically. I love the romance in At First Bite. Here's why these are compared to each other. The romance is definitely stronger in At First Bite, but they both deal with a woman going through something. Okay, so in If You Ask Me, Violet walks in on her husband of 12 years cheating on her. And, you know, clearly that's going to be the end of their marriage. But life gets messy and complicated for her because she really wants revenge on her husband for cheating on her. And she slowly realizes that, their relationship was not always perfect. Their marriage was not always perfect. There were many, many problems, and that they never really addressed them. They just kind of pushed them under the rug. So, if you ask me, I love the character growth of Violet. I don't so much root for her relationship. There is a love story in here, and I didn't really care for it. I think that Violet was amazing on her own, and when she finally realizes that and starts acting like the person that she should have been in the first place, then everything was really good for her. I don't care about the romance. Like, it was fine. It felt like a side piece in this book about Violet, and it's like a later in life coming of age novel of really truly finding herself and learning how to forgive and move on with your life. And it was amazing. Now, At First Sight by Olivia Dade, this was perfection all around. Both of these have messy romances. Both of these are messy books. So don't go in thinking, oh, I'm going to get a fluffy little romance. No, friend. In At First Sight, you follow Athena, who at the beginning of the book, she is engaged to Johnny. But Johnny calls off the wedding a month before the wedding. And she's already put in her notice as a teacher. She's already bought a house right next to Johnny. But what she doesn't know is that Johnny's brother Matthew lives on the other side. So there's Matthew, Johnny, Athena. And they all live right next door to each other. Because the plan was to buy that house and renovate it and make it into this huge house with Johnny's house. So that it would be like this really epic house. And, they were supposed to build a life together, but clearly things didn't work out. So you follow Athena, who struggles with clinical depression. And Matthew, Johnny's brother, realizes what she's going through, and he tries to help coax her out of it. And it's a lot of work, and it's really tough. And I just love Athena. And I loved her, like, the representation of clinical depression was, like, I know it's different for every person, but it felt very real and very raw, and it felt very well researched. And Violet, and if you ask me, oh, I love her so much, but her and Sam, her husband, struggled with infertility for a very long time. She couldn't get pregnant, and there's trigger warnings for, like, having a baby and losing a baby, and also for just not being able to get pregnant, and for society thinking that if a woman doesn't have a baby by the age of 30, that she's not worth anything, or like, just all the pressures of society on a woman, especially a married woman, to get pregnant and start having babies. But there's a lot that people don't know. It's like, from the outside, you can be like, oh, well, you've been married for 12 years. You've been married for 10 years. You're approaching 30. You're over 30. Why haven't you just popped out a baby? And, like, there are many reasons for that. Some can't have babies. And that's kind of what Violet was going through. And some just, like, kids aren't on their radar at that capacity. They don't want to have kids. And just because a woman doesn't want to have a child doesn't make her like less of a human. And there was just so much talk about that. So it was very heavy. And it's very heavy because of the clinical depression with Athena. And then so Athena and Matthew's love story was so slow burn. Like very, very slow burn. And I think that made it feel that much more real, because at first they hate each other. And then Athena starts going down this rabbit hole of depression, and Matthew is the only one there for her. And slowly but surely, they just make it work. And a side note is that I really love Olivia Dade, how she writes plus size women represented very well as well. Okay. We have 2 more pairings. So this one's gonna hurt some people. I'm very sorry. I know that a lot of people hated this book, but this is my favorite Emily Henry book, and that's Happy Place by Emily Henry. And if you liked Happy Place, I think you'd like Do I Know You by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. Whew, they're a married couple who write together, which is great. But in both of these, you follow already established couples. So in this, you follow Wynn and Harriet and Wynn, and they've been like separated for 6 months, but they haven't told their friends. And so they're going on their annual vacation together, and they're just like, oh, well, let's pretend to be together because they got some news. And so they fake like being like they never broke up, and then maybe like you find out what went wrong in their relationship, and maybe they both still really like each other or love each other or something. It was great. Then in Do I Know You, you follow Eliza and Graham, who have been married for 5 years, I believe. And for their 5th year wedding anniversary, Graham's mom, one of the moms, decides to buy them like this getaway trip and kind of have like a second honeymoon and kind of, you know, just recharge and get back to being great. And then I'm pretty sure it was Graham's mom. And somehow there's a mix-up at the hotel, so they have 2 separate rooms, and they decide to take both of them. She's going to sleep at one, he's going to sleep at the other, because they're really not getting along anymore. And on this getaway trip, they kind of slowly start to fall in love with each other again and see why they even fell in love in the first place. So I definitely think if you liked one, you should read the other one. And the last one is because they're both Book of the Month books. No, but wouldn't that be funny? So if you liked The Second Chance Year by Melissa Weisner, I think you'd like The Spells Love by Kate Robb, or vice versa. If you like this one, read this one. So both of these follow broken-hearted women who are just down on their luck. Nothing's going the way that they wanted. Both of them get dumped, and in The Second Chance Year, Sadie is living on her brother's best friend's couch. And in This Spells Love by Kate Robb, Gemma is doing work that she hates, just got dumped by her boyfriend, and she thought he was the one. And in both of them, they have witchy, or Yeah, like a witchy, because in this one it's a psychic, in this one it's like witchcraft. A witchy way of either going back in time and getting a second chance at the year, or being in the same time, but your entire life is different because you made different choices and you just really wanted to forget about your long-term boyfriend who just broke your heart. So in a way, it's a lot about moving on with life, and it's about heartbreak, and it's about, I mean, in a lot of ways they're both coming of age novels, even though I think that they're like old. They're definitely older than high school. I think she's early 20s, I think late 20s, but don't quote me on it. I'm not really good with that. I don't remember too well. But I think if you liked one, you'd like the other. They deal with serious content in very interesting ways, but they feel more lighthearted and fun, and like they feel like you're kind of growing up with Sadie and Gemma, and it was just great. So I love them. So those are my, if you like this book, read this book video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel.